Over the course of about a year and a half, I've had about 3 fender benders, with the most recent one being several weeks ago. And since my last fender bender several weeks ago, God has been constantly bringing back to my remembrance the past few fender benders that I've had. And now I'm wise enough to know that when God is constantly saying something to me, when he's constantly showing me something, and when he's constantly reminding me of something, that there's a message that God wants to deliver to me. There's a word that he wants to speak to me. There is divine revelation and insight that he wants to enlighten me with. And so as these incidents have been going through my head for the last week or so, I decided to do what we all should do, and that's pray to God and inquire of him concerning these fender benders. And I did. I prayed to the Lord, and I waited, and I was very intentional and specific with my prayers, and I waited for God to answer me. And he did answer me. And the Lord began to show me a pattern with each fender bender that I've had over the course of a year and a half. And at the time I had each fender bender, there were a couple of things that happened. I was in areas that were very common and comfortable for me. I was also in places where I felt very much so in control. And lastly, I took my eyes off the road each and every time. And when I did, I immediately crashed. And God began to show me that the things that have happened in my natural life can also be used as an indication and revelation for things that happen in my spiritual life. Because when we take our eyes off God, we crash every single time. Personally, I can speak for myself. Every time that I take my eyes off God, I crash, I crumble, and I fall. Just as I took my eyes off the road in each one of these incidents, there have been times in my life where I've taken my eyes off God, because these places are comfortable and they're common, and I felt very much in control during these incidents. And so I thought that because I felt very much so in control and I felt comfortable and these areas were familiar and common to me, that I could afford to take my eyes off the road and to look for my mascara. And that I could afford to take my eyes off the road and mess with my seat. And each and every time that I did take my eyes off the road, I literally crashed. And each and every time that we take our eyes off Jesus, we will spiritually crash. We will crumble and we will fall. And so I thank God for the divine revelation and insight that he has given me. I thank God that he has taken something that I can relate to give me divine revelation in my life, and to give me wisdom and guidance and understanding and truth. And so now I am more focused, and now I am more intentional, and I am more passionate about keeping my eyes on God. Keeping my eyes on the Lord, keeping him as the center of it all, the center of my everything, keeping him as my main and only focus. Because it's during those times and those places of comfort, those places that are common, those places that we feel that we are in the most control, that the enemy creeps in unaware, and he distracts us, and he discourages us, and doubt creeps in, fear creeps in, unbelief creeps in. And then eventually we fall flat on our faces. We crumble and we crash because we took our eyes off God. As long as we keep Jesus as the center of it all, of our everything, we will never crumble. We will never crash, and we will never fall. And so I thank God for this revelation knowledge that he has given me, and my experiences that he has used to bring to me this truth that I need to carry me throughout the rest of my life. I thank God for bringing this to me and taking something such as this to give me the knowledge and insight that I need. Because I didn't crash on a major highway. Thank God I haven't had a major crash on a major highway, expressway. These have all been in areas that I know, and areas that I didn't think required a lot of attention and a lot of focus. And so during those common places and places of comfort and areas where I felt more in control, I neglected to stay focused. I neglected to keep my eyes fixed on the road, because every single crash that I had occurred within 5 seconds of my taking my eyes off the road. The same will happen in the spiritual realm and in every area of our lives if we take our eyes off God. We can't afford to take our eyes off God for a split second, because if we do, and when we do, we will crash. And so I pray that this message has enlightened you, and that it has blessed you, and that it has encouraged you and inspired you to keep your eyes on God. Because just like the fender benders and these incidents that happen in my natural life, there have been times in my spiritual life where I applied the same pattern and the same principles. And each and every time that I did that I took my eyes off Jesus, I failed, I crumbled, and I crashed. So I pray that you're blessed by this message and that you learn from my experience. And I thank God that I am able to share with you some divine revelation, knowledge, and truth that, if you take heed, will guide you throughout your entire life. Because it is vital and it is necessary that we keep our eyes on God. Let Him be the focus. Let Him be at the center of it all. Your life, your marriage, your career, your ministry. Keep your eyes on God. Set your affection on the things above and not on the things on this earth, including mascara. Because in one of my incidents, that's what I was looking for, to make sure that that wasn't my expensive mascara that had fallen out of my bag. I took my eyes off of what was most important at that time, and that was the road, to focus on something that was irrelevant, not even necessary in that moment. And just that quickly, less than 5 seconds, I found myself on a curve, nearly hit a stop sign. My tire popped and burst and shredded into pieces on the spot. A tow truck had to pick me up and bring me home. Another incident, less than 5 seconds. I just took my eyes off the road and reached down. And when I came back up, bam, crashed. It doesn't take but a split second to lose sight of God. And when you do lose sight of God, you lose faith, you lose peace, you lose hope. Everything we need is in Him. And so I encourage you today to keep your eyes on God, because every time that I did crash, it cost me. And each fender bender cost me more and more money and time and energy and embarrassment. The crash was not worth the cost. Keep your eyes on God. God bless you.